Hello and welcome to UAT Time within the United Countries Special by First Ukraine. You can find us on the frequencies available on our website firstua.com. I'm Sergei Velichansky.
And I am Olivier Drin. UAT Time is dedicated to bringing Ukraine and Europe closer to each other by introducing the real Ukraine to the rest of the world.
As of today, we join a world campaign, Let My People Go. 25 Ukrainian citizens have been illegally detained and kept on the Russian territory at this time. And 25 is the number of people that we know of. Could there have been more? You can never be sure when dealing with Russian-backed terrorists. You can find more details under the hashtags #FreeSavchenko and #LetMyPeopleGo. And today, Russia is leaving Syria, bombs in Brussels, and new clashes in east of Ukraine. These and other issues we will discuss today.
Our guest today is Andrii Buzarov, expert on international and law issues. Welcome.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much for stopping by for a cup of tea. And there are many interesting events that took place in the past week or two. We'll start right away from the one that Russia is pulling their forces from Syria. Now, my question is that a victory or is that a loss?
So, you know that you have emphasized very correctly that there are a lot of things happened, but all these things, they are geopolitically connected with each other. And when we speak about Syria, about the situation in Syria, we have to make one very interesting emphasis that this so-called withdrawal of Russian armed forces is not complete. Technically, it's not complete with the military point of view. It's just a partial withdrawal. So Russia will leave maybe some airstrikes, so-called planes, military planes, but it will be two bases, at least two bases. It will live on Syrian earth, okay, Syrian territory. So the Russian presence there will be.
Okay, so it's not a total
complete
departure.
Yeah,
not a complete one, but
not, of course, a complete one. But this is also for me that's underlying the fact that Putin has now the instrument and now the, I can say, not the money, the economy to increase his presence in Syria. And for me, this is in evidence that this, I can say, this partial withdrawal is underlying the, I can say, the weakness of the economy and of the Putin policy.
But do you think the economy is the main reason for this move?
I am absolutely convinced that there were some agreements with United States. I mean, in Russia, and you know, it was officially agreements concerning so-called truce between different participants in this terrible conflict. And so Russia wants to show everybody that here we make some concessions, we made some withdrawal. Now your turn. I mean, United States, all this coalition, and Syrian opposition, of course, you have to make now some kind of concessions for maybe for Bashar Assad, maybe for Russia, I don't know, because this is a geopolitical question.
Okay.
But Russia made first step, first move, because Putin wants to show that he is ready for further negotiations concern Syria.
Yes, but this is also, I think, you know that Putin really wants to take care about his image now, because the image of Putin and of Russia is very bad in international media. And this withdrawal from Syria is also a question of image for Putin. If you want to negotiate, yes, I think they did a deal with US and even with Europe. So, okay, I am not a bad guy. Look at, I did my best to help you in Syria, blah blah blah. And maybe I think he is waiting for other international field like Ukraine, maybe some back, I can say back decision, or for example the sanction.
Mm-hmm. No, so let me go back. But I think it's true that he's doing the pulling of his troops from Syria for the sake of his image. But now, once he's done it, has it played well for his image? Has it done anything?
The image of Putin is very bad in international media, that you cannot change the image in 1 week or in 1 month.
I think for Putin is very important the eternal image within the country.
Yeah.
And for Putin it's not important because it's not important the external opinion, because it's very bad, it's terrible. And when you analyze Russian media, analyze Russian official sites, there is a general image of this withdrawal like a victory of Russia in Syria.
Yeah, totally.
They helped their brother.
Now, can we do a parallel between Afghanistan?
No, I think
when they were pulling back this.
No, this is not the same scale, the same.
Not the scale, but as far as mass media, the whole Russia is talking about victorious Russians in Syria more than.
In this perspective,
in the 70s we talked about.
We can do some parallelism. In this perspective, yes.
What I'm trying to say is, as they welcomed the victorious return of the Russian troops who did their international duties in the brotherhood country, can we draw this kind of parallel with this situation?
Undoubtedly, they use the same means, the same system of
same rhetorics, same jargon.
Inflation on our minds, on the minds of the citizens of Russia, and this is common tendency for Russian history, not especially for Putin, for the system.
But you say that is for his internal policy, For his internal policy, he cannot go he cannot invest more in this operation in Syria, because that his people will not permit that. And for internal reason, he has to do this withdrawal of Syria. And this is the same for Ukraine. Now, for internal reason, he has also to negotiate in Donbass.
Well, but meanwhile, the 50th convoy has arrived to the east of Ukraine, with a lot more, about 100 tons. I mean,
humanitarian, so-called
humanitarian convoy. So it seems like the resources are endless. They're sending and sending and sending, and we know what's in those trucks.
We know that we know also that the goal of Putin is to freeze the conflict. Then for that you need to hold the line.
Well, I even have an insider's information from people that still live and do their work in the mines of Lugansk and Donetsk regions. They were told to leave the mines and get the weapons, put camouflage on, and join the combatants.
You think it's
like
maybe it's like some signs of maybe a few further escalation?
Yes, that's an information that came from a family.
I
of
understand
the person I know.
You know that all these signs of so-called escalations, time to time, it happens, and because Russia cannot make the withdrawal of its so-called volunteers or troops from Donbass, because it's impossible even to compare all the situation in Syria and in Donbass, because Donbass is very principal for Putin, personally for Putin. It's very important. And that's why this conflict is partly frozen. And for not to freeze it at all, Russia should put some wood in this fire.
Yeah.
And he will do that when he wants.
Yes.
Well, it's like this. Several days ago, and another clashes of warfare, combat in the Yasinavata and Marinka, in that area. I mean, some big shelling and some major fights.
And
So sometimes the phrase partially frozen, it's just
partially frozen because the war exists, and as you say, we have some fire and we have some troops and we have some humanitarian convoy and all that. And this is a progress of a war. And this is, for me, you know, when we talk about Minsk agreement, and in Europe, everybody think that the war is over and now it's quiet. And but only in Ukraine we know that the war is not over.
We need to show the pictures then.
Yeah, really. In Europe,
there.
you know, Andrii, in Europe, they think, okay, Ukraine is in peace.
That's why we use English language now, because we want to show them
That's
the
very
real
important.
situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the main point of the conflict we want to show them, and that's why it's very important. But as you said, very precisely, that all these clashes, military clashes, yesterday they were, before yesterday they will be in the future. Unfortunately, this is the direct proof what we have said, that it is partly frozen conflict, and it will stay it. Unfortunately.
Is there a... Okay, now, maybe there is an answer to my question that I'm about to ask in the following information. I do want to know more about the meeting of Kerry and Lavrov.
Everybody want to know.
Everybody.
Yes, because what if there is an answer to Nadia Savchenko's situation?
A lot of rumors.
What if there is an answer to Donbass conflict thing? But what do we know so far?
So far we know nothing, not because of our fault, their fault, because they want to show some mysterious background to these negotiations. You know that the last visit of Kerry, this visit involves 2 days. So it's a proof that there are many different questions, including Ukrainian question. And I think that they discussed, and I'm sure that it will be progress concerning Savchenko. But it will not be. It won't be any progress concerning general situation in Donbass.
Okay.
Yeah, I am agree with you. We have some rumors about Savchenko, but only about that. About Donbass, I think nothing will change.
There is no official statement yet about Savchenko, right? So
yes, but some rumors.
Okay,
some rumors.
Yeah.
Okay?
Maybe by the next time we do the show, we will have the information. But definitely, but usually when the visits like this, if they take 2 days, usually you could think, okay, there is some reception, some hunting, some other things that definitely there are a lot of good things that could be done, but not in this situation, I think.
Yes, not in situation with the resolvement of conflict in Donbass.
And knowing Kerry, I don't think he would be just there.
It will be just the diplomatic sentences, usual diplomatic sentences.
I think at the end
that all parts of conflict should fulfill Minsk agreements. Russians say like this, and the Americans say like this.
Okay. I am agree that at the end of this meeting we will not have big news about Donbass, maybe a news for the prisoner as Savchenko, but nothing more.
But let's remember, besides Savchenko, there are 24 other
she's not alone.
illegally kept people, detained people in the territory of Russia that probably their names will be more and more will become more known after Savchenko is released, I guess, because she's such a headliner in that area. But if you want to find us on the Facebook, we are there, facebook.com/First UA channel, and find us and tell us what you think. All right?
Thank you.
And we would love to get your feedback on that.
Maybe we can talk about Brussels.
Yes,
because
yes.
that's the capital of
one
the
of
European Union.
One of the tragic things that took place very recently is the bombing in Brussels, and we are talking about more than 30 people dead and over 100 injured, and that is a tragedy. And our condolences to all those that have relatives that were affected by this terroristic act. But why? Well, I don't think I need to ask why Brussels, because Brussels has always been
symbol
in the center of United Europe.
Yeah.
First of all, why now? Especially in relation, that was the same day when the decision on Nadia Savchenko was announced. What do you know?
For me, first, Brussels was and is a target for the terrorists. This is a symbol capital of the European Union.
Easy, you mean? What do you mean by easy?
This is
logical or easy because no security.
You know, I was a few times in Brussels, and really, this is very open town, very open. There, you don't have in metro. You don't have, for me, very much security as we have in Paris, for example. In Paris, we have a Plan Vigipirate, and this is you have army in the street, okay. And in Brussels, I didn't see that like in Paris. Okay, that was more easy to do something, and for me also, Brussels is a symbol of democracy, human rights, equality, gender, and for all those persons who have different values from European values, this is also a symbol to kill and to beat, as they did in New York, the 11th of September.
Okay.
This last terrorist attacks, they are undoubtedly they are indirectly or directly connected with the situation in the Middle East.
Yeah,
in
of course.
Syria. We know it because we know the backgrounds of all these terrorists. They were in Syria. They originally from Arab world. That's why I think it's unfortunately this is a natural consequences of what happened and will happen in the Middle East.
Come on, in the Middle East you have Iraq. Iraq is totally destroyed inside.
Divided,
okay. Divided. Syria, also.
Divided.
Afghanistan is not a success story.
Yemen.
Yeah. Somalia. And Libya, of course. And all those countries, they can provide a lot of terrorists.
Potential.
Yeah, that means we have to be prepared to other attacks.
But do we know? Has anybody claimed the credit for this terroristic attack? Do we have any official statements from any side?
Yes, there were some statements that they took the responsibility for this. I mean, from Islamic State, so-called Islamic State. But I don't know where the situation.
You know that in terrorism network, everybody say, "I am Al Qaeda, I am
Islamic State."
You cannot prove. You can find. Somebody can say, "I am from Al Qaeda."
My question, the reason why I'm asking you if it's Islamic State or somebody who's saying that it's Islamic State. Why Brussels? Because if Russia was the ones that supposedly had shelled all the terroristic camps and all the headquarters, as they claim, that they were shelling and they were attacking with their jets, the Islamic State terroristic camps. But the terroristic acts are in Brussels, and Brussels hasn't done anything there. You know, by saying this, that's a proof that the shelling wasn't necessarily the Islamic State terroristic camps.
It was useless. I mean,
Yeah.
It was useless. I understood your point. Without point, without. I'm not. You know that Russia involved in this Syria campaign not because of Islamic State.
Because of Bashar Assad.
Because of Bashar Assad and because of the Syrian opposition. Because Syrian opposition.
Yes, exactly. And they're the ones that they were shelled and attacked.
Bombed.
They bombed the Syrian opposition.
Infrastructure of Syrian opposition. Now everybody understood that there is some stability in conflict, status quo, so-called, between pro-Assad formed this armed forces and opposition. So Russia did not want to involve this conflict for many years, for 3 years. It was a necessary measure because they want to show that there is a support of Assad from Russia. And Iran, Hezbollah from Lebanon, these militias from Shia militias from Iraq, from Yemen, they all failed in their support. That's why Russia should involve and to show its power. Now they want to stabilize and to freeze this conflict, the status quo. And the last negotiations between Kerry and between Lavrov, and there was a meeting between Kerry and Putin. They want just to stop this conflict, but not stop the war in the Middle East, because they want to go on their campaign against Islamic State. And Russia confirmed that they will go on the airstrikes against Islamic State. But how they define where the Islamic State, where the Syrian opposition, that's very interesting.
Yeah, and other things, you know, you say that Russia don't want to stay 3 years in Syria. That's involved 3 years. Why? Why? Because if they do that, that means they will have to put more soldiers, more equipment, more weapons, and this is impossible now. In this situation of Russia, economic situation, and also internal situation, to put more soldiers and money in this operation. And for me, Putin is playing at first for his internal policy and after for external policy.
Now, we've got about a minute and a half left. I want to wrap it up all and try to connect it to our situation, Ukraine. Any benefits for us? Can we get any benefits from the world events? And what can we do to make our move in between this big chess game?
Yes, chess game, geopolitical game.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Ukraine just object of this political game. And this is some figure of this chess game, and
not a big one.
Not a subject of this geopolitical game. So we have to wait, but we have to understand that now Ukraine is the ally of United States, not ally of Russia. DNR and LNR, separatists, they are allies of Russia. So now even some parts of Ukraine, unfortunately, are divided. That's why the general geopolitical situation influences the situation in Ukraine. It influences and will influence. We have to just to analyze and to wait and to be patient, unfortunately.
And for me, you know, everything is also, a large part is in the end of Ukraine also, in the end of Ukraine. Ukraine has really to take his destiny in his hands. And really for me, you don't have to wait everything from abroad. In this conflict, you have also to work with your own forces. And when you say what we can do, okay, I think, you know, this morning I talked with some European diplomat, and they say Ukraine also has to do a part of the job.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's the thing that we will stay on and meditate on, that Ukraine has got its own job to do, internal, right, and external as well. You know, on the domestic field with the Verkhovna Rada and cabinet of ministers, that's a totally different subject, but that's going to be probably for the next show.
Yeah.
It was United Country, UAT time by First Ukraine. Our guest was Andrii Buzarov, expert on international and law issues.
Olivier Drin and Sergei Vichonsky were working for you in the studio. Stay with us and we will show to you the real Ukraine.
Thank you for being with us. Have a good day and see you soon.
See you.